Hello, and thank you for joining me. I'm feeling a little under the weather at the moment, so I'm going to do a pretty short one today. In this video, we will be talking rhubarb jam. Well, rhubarb compote, technically. It's an extremely easy recipe with big flavor payoff, so don't be shy if you've never worked with rhubarb before. First, we are going to need some rhubarb, and the season is certainly upon us. Lucky for me, I have a little community garden plot in my backyard, and no one has touched the 2 rhubarb plants in several seasons, so I don't think anyone will mind if I clean out the patches so my tomatoes and peppers have a little room to grow. I'm just using a little knife and cutting right at where it comes out of the soil, and then taking off the big green leaves because they are toxic. Not in a big scary way, but definitely toxic enough to leave out of our compote. Some of these stalks are pretty skimpy, but I managed to get enough together for a small batch. At least I hope this is enough. Of course, you don't have to pick your own rhubarb, you can also just buy it at the store. Either way, let's get these skinny rhubarb stalks back inside and get them cleaned up a bit. I just get a big bath of cold water together and toss in our cut rhubarb to soak for a bit, going in with my paring knife for some last minute trimming of damaged or off-colored spots. Then I just lift them up and out of the water, and just so I can calculate my sugar, I weigh those quickly. 420 grams. Nice. Which is pretty close to a pound if you are going by US measurements. On my cutting board, I just use my chef knife to roughly cut them up. Let's call those approximate 1-inch pieces. I'm definitely a little nervous. This is some woody rhubarb. I don't know if you can hear my knife struggling in the audio, but it felt more like clearing brush than slicing a vegetable. Anyway, keep faith alive. I get that in a pot, and then I go in with my sugar. I need 160 grams, but you can go with 3/4 of a cup if you'd rather. Then I need 65 grams of white wine, or just a nice splash if you don't have a scale. We're also going to put in some lemon zest, but I like to do that at the end to maximize the freshness. Now we just put that on the stove over medium-high heat, giving it a stir as it comes up to a boil. Once we are boiling away, I drop the heat down to a low, medium, low-ish heat and let it simmer for about 15 minutes or so. I checked in halfway through, and despite the woodiness of this rhubarb, it actually seems to be breaking down just fine, and the color is actually even nicer than I usually get. So we just let that keep going for a little while longer until all the pieces have broken down. Once we get to that point, I just kill the heat. Give it the zest of this one lemon. Give it a taste. If you really like it on the tart side, maybe you even think it needs a little squeeze of some of that lemon juice as well. But now I'm very happy with this. I'm going to eat this compote within a week or 2, so I'm not going to be canning it, just storing it in a jar. I'll let it cool before I put it in the fridge. But you certainly could can this. Just make sure you read up on how to do that safely and the best method for whatever jars you might be using. But hey, look at that. We basically had the perfect amount of rhubarb for this jar. And that's basically all there is to it. Now, what to do with it, you might well ask? Well, you have all sorts of options. Have it on a piece of toast. or better yet, on a buttery southern style biscuit. It's also absolutely perfect to serve with a cheese plate. And if you're feeling a bit more ambitious, make some rhubarb swirl ice cream. To do this, just make a plain ice cream base. Cool it, spin it, and in the last moments of spinning, give yourself a good few spoons of that rhubarb compote. And just look at that. Rhubarb swirl ice cream, a great summer flavor. And that's going to do it for me today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this simple recipe for a super fresh rhubarb compote. Give it a try if you've never worked with rhubarb before. If you like this video, don't hesitate to hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the channel. I've got several other videos on special seasonal ingredients and how to make the most of them. And be sure to comment if you have any questions or just want to say hello. And until next time, cheers!